I like that you're so humble and you don't want to take the credit. But if this not for a good leader, the organization also don't run the same, right? Like, don't forget as a leader is you showing up as yourself that allows everybody else to show up as themselves and trickle down. Because we've seen it where good leaders are up top or even bad leaders, and what that actually looks like, the energy coming down. You have high energy, and you can tell by everybody that works for you, right? So no, yo, give yourself those kudos because I've seen organizations that fail to have good leadership, great mission, but
Yeah.
you know what? The mission doesn't mean anything if you don't have a great leader at the helm of it
And
all.
I agree. I mean, I believe I am the leader for this organization in this time. I have certainly had my share of learning moments and
Hmm.
challenges, but I think every challenge brings growth. But I also
Absolutely.
believe that the best leaders listen,
Mm,
right? Like if the majority of the organization is like, I'm hoping that we could do X, and I'm over here doing Y all by myself. It's lonely over there, right? And so I
yeah.
just think with great privilege comes great responsibility. I can be
Amen.
the organization, I can be one of the biggest assets, or I can become the organization's biggest liability. I don't ever want to do that, right?
No,
And so
100% not.
I think it's important to listen to people. It's important to hire people around me who have skills that I don't possess, that just make this incredible kind of Avengers team.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to be able to inspire people so that they can also reach their full potential, whatever that is. And my hope is that we continue to do that.
You mentioned you don't show up to communities unless invited, right? Like, what does that look like? Like, how does an organization or
Yeah.
community know, like, this is, we need reading partners so that
Yeah.
those that may be watching can understand a little bit of it?
Yeah, and let me say this too, because I'd be lying if I'm like, I just wait for an invitation to come via email before we go anywhere. It's not that. I mean, I think it's a little bit of art and science. So, we one of our values is that data drives decisions. And
Yeah.
so of course we look at data, right? We want to go into a community where we recognize that the literacy rates may not be where that community wants it to be, or
Hmm.
maybe lower than the national average or lower than that district's, that the state average, et cetera. So we look at numbers, we look at data, and then we will go and have conversations with people and understand what currently exists within that ecosystem. What's working right now? Like
Hmm.
where you're seeing success, tell us where that is. What is working? How are you seeing that success? Let's learn more from the people where you're seeing, where they're experiencing success in literacy or in a different aspect of what's happening with the school. And then we talk a little bit about who we are and what we do. And if we're not invited in, I think, a big we can't. It's not enough for us to say we're going here,
Yeah.
and it's not enough for a funder to give us money to go to said place. The school, the teachers, the principals, nonprofit leaders need to also want us, and they have to vote with their wallets or their budget. So I mean, I think it's that, like, they have to invite us in, and they have to believe that we are part of we are a piece of the solution, not the panacea, but we're a piece of the solution. So there's a series of conversations we have. We've done everything from engage families in a community, to talk to young people, to talk to funders, to talk to community leaders, to talk to educators. So we tried to really cast a wide net and have a number of conversations with a number of people. And again, there are times where a funder is like, hey, we really want you to come here because we're hearing from the community they need X, and we believe y'all have it. And so we're like, great, let's go in and have some conversations. Let's take a look and see what's working and what's not. Let's share with you what we can offer, and let's understand from you if what we're offering is exactly what y'all are looking for. And if it's not, how can we tweak our offerings?
Yeah.
Or how can we potentially recommend somebody else if it's not
I love
us?
that. And you're kind of leading in uncertain times, right? Literacy transcends politics. How do you stay anchored in mission when external pressures are really kind of pulling strong in a sense, right? Like this is not the easiest times of it all. One of the biggest things that I've seen as well, and I don't know how you guys are navigating this, is that at least here in Central Florida, one of the biggest districts in Florida is having to close down elementary schools, right? Having because people rather take their kids and put them in charter schools or stay at home with their kids. What is that all looking like in this world?
I mean, so to the point of like, literacy isn't political. You're right, it should not be. And it's a civil right. Every child in this country has the right to have the resources and adults in their lives to teach them how to read. And in a world that is so incredibly polarizing right now, and in a country that's at the helm of that kind of polarization, I think in some
Yeah.
ways, right? Um, it's hard as a nonprofit leader navigating this space, and the work that we do is more necessary now than ever before. So I remain steadfast in my commitment to our work and figuring out how to work across difference, how to work with people who may think differently than I do,
Yeah.
but who fundamentally believe that young people deserve the resources and the opportunities to learn to read. And so, I mean, I think I don't know everything about what's happening in Central Florida, but I think all over the country, schools are closing, micro schools are popping up. Folks are going from, district schools to charter schools. Some are going to private schools. I think what is the same, regardless of where in this country folks are raising their kids, is that every single parent, every caregiver of a child just ultimately wants the very best for their child. They
Yep.
want the very best education. They want that child to reach their full potential. They want them to be a great citizen and be in a country where there's a democracy, where they can vote, where they can make decisions for themselves and their, and their future family, and just, reach their full potential. I think everybody wants that.
Yeah.
How we go about getting that looks different depending upon who you're talking to. And I think the more that we lead with love, which is what one of our founders, Molly McCrory, who is still alive, living in Menlo Park, she's 94 years old. I get to see her about once a year. And one of my first conversations with her when I took on this role, Efrain, she was like, I said, tell me why and how you started this when you did, back in the late 90s. And she said, Ola, I just chose to lead with love. And I believed every tutor coming into this reading center needed to love the kids, like needed to just have this innate, this belief that they are here to spread love and to do really good work to support a young person. And I think that still remains true. And my hope is that there are enough of us, regardless of how we voted and who we believe in and who we do not believe in, that ultimately believe in the fundamental right that every child deserves a great education, every child deserves an opportunity to reach their full potential, and it's our job as adults to clear the way for every young child. And I think one of those ways can be through literacy, through creating tutoring opportunities for young children, and then as a result, reading partners, right? We just want to do our part. So it is hard, I mean, because federal funding has been cut from so many nonprofits.
Yep.
And some of them have had to fold, and some of them have had to merge. And so I feel really, really privileged to still be able to exist, to still have funding from the government to be able to do this work and have AmeriCorps members, et cetera, because they're friends of mine who haven't been as lucky.